glad you guys could join us again for another Talk It Over. Back again with me this week, we have Dave and Leanne, so welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Looking forward to another great conversation on today's message, which is still in our series, He Promises. Week 4, it's been good. We've got a couple more weeks to go with this series. I found at least it's been really good. And just kind of unpacking a little bit more about what God promises. It's been really, really good. But before we dive into that, has there anything new and exciting happened over the past week? Something different from the last time I guess we talked?
Any updates is what you're looking for?
I guess more updates. Yeah, maybe some updates. Anything?
Updates.
Yeah.
We're almost finished with the painting and all that stuff going on in our place. So stuff is starting to move back to where it belongs. So the chaos is disappearing, which is very nice.
Yes.
Nice to have that done and get it cleaned up. So the end is near. It's almost finished.
The end is near.
It's good.
Good.
Yeah.
I think for me, I don't know. Emma was sick this past week for a bunch of it, and so that was it's just rough trying to manage a sick kid and also working at the same time.
Yeah.
And then he had an appointment with a specialist on Tuesday. The kidney is doing great, so we're very thankful for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot that's changed. Any updates from past week? It's been, pretty normal other than, just Emmett's been a little bit up and down, but otherwise seeming to be pretty stable for the rest, I think. So
It's feeling better now, so that's good.
Feeling better. Yeah, feeling better.
Feels like it's spring is just waiting, right? We're just waiting for the really warm weather.
Right
We're just kind of waiting. It's almost.
We got a
we had that little
on
tease,
Friday.
and then it snowed yesterday.
It snowed.
Yeah.
Just like, we're so close and yet so far.
So we're kind of in that waiting period where
Yeah.
then we're outside and all that kind of good stuff goes on.
Yeah, we're right in that moment of, just waiting for that to jump into effect. I'm waiting to see all the nice spring buds and things come out and all the trees and the flowers.
Our tulips are up.
I know, our tulips have come up, which
we've
is
got some of ours up too.
Which is interesting because usually that's always a good sign that spring's generally fairly close, but it's always hard to tell because the weather goes up, it gets real warm real early.
Yes.
And I think that kind of throws off the whole process of the plants a bit, but the tulips are right there. They're going to start blooming, I would think, very soon, which is always nice. I like looking at them in the spring, so that's always good. I don't know what that looks like for you guys. Something new, something exciting. Maybe there was, fairly just straight level week, nothing too crazy, but just kind of that routine, which is always nice to have. Please let us know in the comments what that is for you. We would love to hear from you. So today's message is finding peace in your thoughts. They can be hard sometimes, getting that peace in thoughts because, man, your mind can really be giving you a dialogue that's maybe not very peaceful, could be causing anxiety or worry or something like that. So really, finding those peace in that thought, it's just, it's an excellent message. I certainly suggest you guys have a watch if you haven't watched it yet. It was really good. Our verse today comes from John 14, verse 27. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid.
When I hear that, I always think of like Lucy and Charlie Brown. It's that fake, like, here's your piece. Oh, no, that wasn't really it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to give it to you. Oh, no, not really.
Not really. Yeah.
That's kind of what the world offers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be that way.
Yeah.
That it's something that's for a short period and gets taken away or is never really given what was, I guess, said.
You didn't really get that piece.
Yeah.
And it ends up worse in the end.
Yeah.
Because you start spiraling in negative directions.
Yep. And that those thoughts pick up and all of a sudden you just get into a very negative space.
Well, and we talked about that with John Acuff's book on soundtracks.
Yep.
Right? That soundtrack. It's like for the movie of our lives that we play over and over and over again. And sometimes it can be, really negative.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. All right, so start here. What words come to mind when you hear the word peace? What would you use to describe that?
I think of the visual of like a dove flying through the air. And
soaring peacefully.
he's soaring peacefully. Yeah, I don't know.
With the light coming down.
Yeah, and the olive branch.
That's right. The whole, yeah.
Okay.
I think I used to think that, like it was just calm and quiet and still. And then we started watching some of the Bible Project videos where they unpack shalom, which Craig talked about in the message. That idea of wholeness and completeness. And now for me, it's when everything just fits together the way it's supposed to. Like relationships and life, and that's what comes to mind for me now, which is very different, I guess, than what it used to be. And so I hear people talk about peace. So that was very peaceful. And what they really mean by that, it was just very quiet, nothing unexpected, very calm.
Yep.
But I think you can, even in that, things cannot be peaceful, right? If you have conflict or something's going wrong in a business or whatever else, it just hangs out there. And even though it's quiet right here, out there is all this chaos and things not working. And so I try to think of that differently now.
Yeah.
Shalom.
Yeah.
Well, is it more than like more of an inner peace versus an environmental peace?
It is, although you can have it both ways. And Craig, I know, talked about the inward stuff a lot, but it's also the outward, because if I have relational conflict with you, right, that's an external thing, not just an internal thing. And so it's really both of those. Sometimes it's my perspective. Like it's the expectations I bring, and sometimes it's the internal stuff for me. But other times it's the external. And how do I still have peace? How does it work together? How does God kind of bring it so that it's actually whole in the way it's supposed to be? Which I know you're not going to get a lot of that this side of heaven.
Right.
But there are moments like that where everything just seems to click and everything is good that way. And for me, it just gives me a taste of this is what it's going to be like all the time someday when Jesus returns. And so I look forward to that.
I think I'm kind of in between both of you guys. I think peace to me is like this kind of quiet, calm, no stress is what I kind of think is peace, where your mind is just kind of still, I guess. Even though there is chaotic things going on around you, just being very, I don't know. It's hard to describe it, but just being very calm and just quiet, I find is, I guess, what I attribute to peace.
I don't know. You're pretty young for all that quiet, aren't you?
I don't know if it's just what I do and it's so loud all day in the shop, and just having quiet is just very nice. And I find I find peaceful and calming over very loud and hustle and bustle, I guess.
Okay.
But
wait, so will you find peace at the Skillet concert?
Probably not peace. No, probably it'll be just pumped up and going. But it'll be a different kind. It won't be peace, but it'll be, I would say, energetic over anything.
Yes.
But yeah, I find the peaceful part and being able to like recharge is kind of just being calm, quiet by myself. I find is more recharging than being around a group of people doing stuff all the time. I find that more draining, and I think that's just the introvert part of me. Just prefers a little bit more quiet self-reflection over let's recharge with people, I guess is
and you come home to two extroverts who are, let's go do something!
But we've been inside all day, woo! And I'm like, I just want to sit for like 5 minutes, please. It's, it makes it different, and it's certainly different to recharge because, when you have a little guy that's go, and doesn't want to sit, and I'm like, I just want to sit for a few minutes, it does make it a little different on how you recharge.
A lot of energy.
A lot of energy. And it's a good test of managing both the expectations of super go, and we need to take a few minutes just to sit and just be still for a couple minutes. But
that's good.
So I don't know what that looks like for you guys, but let us know in the comments what comes to mind, what words come to mind when you think of peace. I'm going to read John again. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. So what are some differences between worldly peace and godly peace? And how can someone experience godly peace?
I like that because we talked about earlier, right? The worldly peace is like you think this is what's going to help you to feel at peace, but it's not really. And I think godly peace to me is what you were talking about. It's really not about the circumstances. Is that I can actually feel a peace because I'm leaning into God and I'm trusting Him, and I've kind of got my strength from Him.
Yep.
And so I can actually be at peace in the chaos.
Yes.
And so you can actually find peace in the noise and in the struggle and in everything else. So for me, I think that's where the difference is that what the world offers is something false. And he was kind of joking about that, right? Like people escape through lots of drugs and substances where your mind kind of forcefully disconnects, so to speak, because of what's going on.
Yep.
But then eventually you come back and it's worse because your problems are all still there.
Yeah.
And you may have made it worse because of what you've done while you were disconnected. And it's just gone. So I think that's the difference, is one is actually in the real world, in reality, and helps you really manage and deal with it. That makes sense?
Yeah. That makes pretty good sense, actually. Yeah, I see. Yeah, it kind of touches with that, where a lot of the worldly peace is very temporary. It's very short-lived.
Yeah.
Where God's peace is throughout your life. It doesn't disappear.
Yeah.
It's always there. The one thing that always comes to mind when I see this is people tend to run from their problems, or I'm going to move here, I'm going to take a vacation, I'm going to do this. That's fine. You can leave your problems, you can leave your worries, but they're going to be there right when you come back. They don't just disappear while you're gone.
Or you take them.
Or
you take you with you.
You take you with you, right?
So like it comes with you.
And you can be false for a while on really where you're at and what you're doing. But when it comes back to it, those problems are still there. They don't just disappear. Yeah. And the worldly peace doesn't really deal with those problems. It doesn't help those problems. It more just numbs them for a period of time. Where godly peace, you're in those troubles, they are there, but God's giving you that a calmingness, knowing that He's there to help you through them and actually face them head on, not just try to avoid them.
Kind of like knowing, like, what the example that Craig gave of flying the airplane, like, he's with you. Like, Craig's like, I don't know what to do, and this guy who's an expert in the field is like, oh, you don't need to worry because I know what to do. Yeah. So Craig's like, okay, then I don't have to worry because I got you with me. And it's kind of like what we were talking about last week of being equally yoked. God is with us. We need to bring Him with us.
And He brings the expertise.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what to do and how to deal with all the situations.
And it's when we turn away from Him to be like, no, I'm going to do this myself. Yeah. And get stuck in the soundtracks of life sucks, I've done something wrong, I don't know, there's all these things that we can tell ourselves that are negative and not God honoring, and just pull ourselves down, and then we try to build ourselves back up through things that the world offers.
Or even getting something telling you in your head, oh, this is good, this is good, this is good, and it might be good, but it's not the best. Right? And God wants us to have the best, not just the good. And again,
it's good in the moment.
It can be good in the moment, and it can be good for a short period, but again, it's not sustained, right? And I think that's where people get lost in, this will bring me comfort, this will bring me satisfaction, this will bring me, respect, this will bring me, and they do, but it's that short period. That's really where it changes, right? That's
interesting, because the comfort word we've talked about a lot.
We do, yeah.
And how's that different from peace?
Yeah, comfort and peace
they sound kind of the same.
They do. Yeah. They do.
But this is about how I feel in the circumstances, and the other is regardless
of how I feel.
It's an inner decision, right? That I've got peace. Yeah. And maybe that working things together, that wholeness it can be more of an internal thing.
Because comfort can feel peaceful because you're controlling it, right?
Yeah. So it's the fake worldly one.
It's the fake worldly one. It's that comfort of the comfort brings me peace.
Yes.
Right? But it's not it's only in the circumstantial where you control what's happening and how you feel over God's giving you peace because it is hard. Yeah. Right.
And God never promises us comfort.
He says he will comfort us.
Yes.
Everybody doesn't guarantee us a life of comfort.
Doesn't exactly. No, but he promises a life of peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we choose to accept it.
Yeah.
Because that would be very interesting if it was different. I promise you a life of comfort.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what we interpret it as,
well, that's
right?
how we see it. Yeah.
Because we think they're connected, right? We think comfort and peace are the same.
Yeah.
But that would be very different. I promise you peace and I give you comfort. Like that would be that'd be really just really weird to think that's like to live. Oh, you just need to live comfortably.
But I think that's where we go of like, God, you didn't give me what you promised me because this world isn't comfortable. These troubles that I'm going through aren't comfortable. This really sucks. Right. Therefore, you are unfaithful.
Right.
That's like because we get those confused all the time.
We do.
Yep.
But God never promises comfort. And so...
Well, it's funny because that word comfort, English, in terms of language, is two things, though. Because I picture you with Emmett when he's hurt himself, and you comfort him.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he does promises that kind of comfort.
Yes.
But in terms of being comfortable.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
He doesn't, you're right. He doesn't promise us that at all. But that seems to be where we all gravitate.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, because I think the comfortable is easy. And as a Christ follower, it's not meant to be easy, right? And I think that's, again, where people get this misguidedness about comfort that, well, because I'm a Christ follower, things should be comfortable or should be easy.
Right.
And then I think when things get difficult, instead of turning to God's peace, they say, you aren't here, you're not with me, and turn away. And
you should change the circumstances to make it comfortable for me.
To make it comfortable.
That's what God is supposed to do.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I will give you peace.
And I'll give you help to get through it, but it's
storm
not.
That you're going through.
I'll give you peace, but there's going to be difficult times.
Yeah.
So, I think that's quite good. Let's see here. Let's share about a time when you experienced God's peace. What was that like, and what did you learn about His peace?
Wow. Well, because I think we typically go back to times that were difficult. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what pops into my head.
Yep. I was thinking the
storms.
The storms. Yeah.
Which is, you would think it's not supposed to be those. It's supposed to be the comfortable times when things were quiet.
Celebration.
When you're at the top, when you're at the top of the mountain, not in the valley, right?
That's supposed to be the peace moments, but really it was in the difficulties.
Yeah.
And so when you have this like we've had some relational conflicts over the years that have been just awful. Mm-hmm. And how do you find peace in the middle of that? And yet that's the times where God sometimes would grant us a peace that passes all understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why. I don't know where this is coming from, but God, I'm trusting you. I'm relying on you, and you're seeing me through it, and I've got a peace about it.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I think that's exactly right, spot on. I think that hits our story quite well with the difficult moments, because in the good times when things are easy, it just doesn't bring up that sense of feeling that peace, I guess.
It's funny, isn't it? Yeah.
It just, it seems backwards to what you would assume it should be, right? But it's a different sense of peace that, again, as you said, translates past understanding. Like you can't grasp why it's that peaceful or why you have peace
feel that peace
in that moment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's where, again, you have to experience it to really know God's peace, right? But the difficult part of that is you're probably going to run into something fairly difficult or something very trying to experience that level of peace.
Yeah.
Right.
Because in a secular context, if you're asking that question about peace apart from God, I think people would talk about those peaceful moments. Sitting at the beach or at the cottage when it's quiet.
Yeah. Oh, this is so peaceful.
That's what would come to mind, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
As opposed to, in the really difficult moment, that's when I was experiencing peace.
Yeah.
That is so backwards.
It's completely bad. Yeah, it's upside down.
Yeah.
It's completely upside down from what you would think. But now you said that, you hear about, it's so peaceful sitting here or so peaceful over there. It was peaceful doing this. But it's not a difficult moment. It's not a trying moment. It's always something that, again, comfortable. It's a comfortable moment.
Yes.
But, this is peaceful.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, when you asked the question, I was thinking of us in the hospital with Emmett.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking of us at Kinna's, or, like, Disney World on Emmett's Make-A-Wish trip. Like, that was not peaceful.
No.
It was a lot of fun and had a blast.
Fun, but it was, it was not peaceful.
But then, like, we experienced God's peace while doctors are giving us awful news, like the worst ever news, and asking us, like, how are you so calm? God's peace. I don't know what else to tell you. Or explaining to friends after what's happened and then be like, how are you still vertical? How are you not losing your mind through this? How are you still sane? And just God's peace is the only way I can explain it. And he's been so good with us that, like, anytime something big and scary is happening, he just gives me a word or gives me a phrase or gives me, there's just a sense of, like, I'm in it with you. And he just reminds me every single time of, we'll get through this. It'll be okay.
And what a testimony that is. You've talked about interactions with other families that didn't have God in their lives. And they're looking at you like, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
Because they're struggling.
Yeah. They don't understand.
And how God's peace, isn't that funny, right? In the middle of the difficulty makes such a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah, as non-believers, it doesn't make much sense when we're explaining what's happening because they can't comprehend how that works.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't fit into the worldly bubble on how it works, right? So for them, with the worldly view, it's like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't work. There's no way that could work because it doesn't fit into that bubble.
Right.
Because that doesn't fit into the comfort and the peace of the world.
Yeah.
In that sense, right? So it is different and it changes how they get it. But through that, we've been able to share faith. We've been able to share how we've gotten through it and why we have it, right?
Why
with God's
choosing
peace, why we're choosing this, right?
Yeah.
So it's given us a chance to have a little small ministry in that sense with some of the families in medical situations similar to us, for them to see there's a different way.
Because they could have it too.
They could.
Right? And that's the desire is, you could have peace about this terrible circumstance just like I do.
Yeah. We do, yep.
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be that way.
It doesn't have to be that way.
It doesn't have to be the hard, difficult, can't understand, anxious, worriedness all the time.
Yeah.
So
powerful.
It is. Wow. We've blown through the conversation again. Our time is coming to an end. But of course, I want to thank you guys for joining me. Again, another great conversation. I hope you guys watching have gotten something out of this. And again, you guys can take this conversation even a little bit further by starting your own life group. You two friends can start one up, dive into these questions a little bit deeper, and get even just more perspective on what the message is all about. And I always find that really great when we have those discussions here as well as in our own life groups. It just gives us more perspective, a different view of the message, and really helps to just understand more about what God's saying in the messages. So again, I want to thank you guys for joining us. I hope you come back again next time because we know whoever finds God
finds life.